All right. So another easy lesson. This is stuff, I mean, we did way back at the beginning of the year, but it's good to go back and review because it will definitely come up if you take an ACT. And this type of thing actually comes up just a lot in general, a lot of things in life and a lot of careers. So nothing too hard, but just a good thing to review here in the last week or so. So graphing linear functions, so remember linear just means that you don't have any, nothing squared, it's just plain old x. And we use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Remember, m is always your slope, b is your y-intercept. X and y just represent the different points on the line. So just for a quick example, today we're going to be graphing. So if we have a y equals negative x plus 3. Well, that's the same thing as saying, negative 1 over 1, x plus 3. So to graph it, we got a y-intercept at 3. So we would put a point on our y-intercept and then down 1 over 1. And then obviously these are going to make a line. So let's just get right into it and do a few examples. So to start here, we have y equals 3/2 x minus 4. So when I'm graphing my line here, first find my y-intercept, that's negative 4. So I would go put a point, and make sure you do it on the y-axis, not the x-axis, at negative 4. And then it's rise over run, right? So up 3 over 2. So I would go up 3 and over 2, right there. And then up 3. Let me get my eyes checked, over 2. So when you graph that line, use my fancy line tool so everything's nice and straight. You just connect your points. And hopefully mine shows up nice. Good enough. Okay. Next one. So now you notice, hey, where's our y-intercept? There is no constant. So that just means that your y-intercept is right at the origin here is all that means. Oop, I got line tool. I don't want my line tool right now. So just have a point right at the y-intercept here at 0. So that's a mistake people make for whatever reason. It throws them off. So if there isn't one, you just got to point at the origin. Negative 2. So think of it as negative 2 over 1, right? So I would go down 2 and then right 1. And then notice that obviously if you have a positive slope, okay, your line's going that way. If it's negative, it's going the opposite direction. So if I go ahead and graph this line here, you have that line. All right. Now these two, you'll notice they're not in y-intercept form. They're actually in what's called standard form. So what we have to do is solve for y. Now on your assignment, if you're doing it on Delta, it's just going to have you solve for y. You're not going to have to graph it. If you're doing the hard copy, you'll have to graph it too, but that's really not that much more difficult. So we want to solve for y and get y by itself. So we would get 2y. I'm going to put the negative 3x first, so it's right in slope-intercept form. And then plus 12. And then we divide everything by 2. So that would be negative 3 over 2x plus 6. I'm hoping this is just really easy for you. So point at 6, and then down 3 over 2. And down 3 over 2. So we'll graph that. Okay. And ta-da. And then one more example here. So we'll just go ahead and solve for y. So negative 5y. Put the x first, so negative 4x minus 10. Divide everything by negative 5. So when you divide by negative, everything becomes positive over there. So 4/5 x. And then 10 divided by 5 would be 2. So point at 2. And then we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, my counting's kind of cruddy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there. So then I'll graph it. And there you have it. So again, you guys should know how to do this already. It's just a refresher to go over something that's pretty important that you might actually use. So just a real short assignment. I didn't write on Delta, but it is on Delta. So Go ahead, do that. Piece of cake. Last thing we'll go over will be actually writing equations from a graph or from a couple points. So that shouldn't be really too tough either. So there you go.